Yay, happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. Happy third to last Monday of 2021. I can't even believe it. I want to kick off tonight, you guys, truly saying thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the gift of you and your time and your willingness to grow on Monday nights. If you have been coming to Monday nights since this time last year, thank you. Thank you for your consistency. Thank you for showing up. If you are newer to our Monday nights, thank you. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your yes. And I hope that 2022 finds you making Monday nights a habit. I'm so grateful for you guys. And tonight is, it's such a treat, these next three. This is something I do every year. I take time to do a reflection walk with you guys and do some goal setting and vision casting. And the culmination is being able to create a vision board for ourselves to guide ourselves into the new year. And I feel beyond blessed that you guys trust me with that process. There are so many people out there in the world that you could be influenced by and choose to have guide you. And the fact that you get on these Mondays and that you allow me to be a piece of that in your journey, I'm very grateful and very humbled by that. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. This is really, this is it. Like, this is just going to be fun for the next 3 Mondays. So if you're not on tonight's call or you see somebody that's not on tonight's call, like, go tell them you need to come have fun with us. Like, we're going to have so much stinking fun these next 3 Mondays. I know it's the heart of the holiday season, but I'm hopeful that by the time you get off these calls each Monday night for the next 3 weeks, that a piece of you feels fuller, right? So first of all, thank you. Second, I have on my heart lately, I keep seeing the word treasures. I keep hearing the word treasures. I keep seeing the word treasures. And I'm kind of a word person for the year. I don't know if my word's going to be treasures or treasure, but I don't know. I just keep seeing it. But I want you to bear with me for 1 second. The story of Christmas is a pretty it's a pretty common story that we all know, right? Jesus, baby in a manger, right? And oftentimes in the holiday season, we can really, I think we can hone in on that piece of the story. But something I'm grateful for a pastor and a church, and I'm grateful for studies that help me see pieces of the Bible that maybe I would never see before, and the story that maybe I would never see before. So I don't know if this is going to be anything profound for you tonight, but it was super profound for me when I realized this. But we all know the story of Jesus in the manger, Bethlehem. I'm sure we do. At some point I've heard that. Okay. But what we might not know, or maybe the next level of knowing, is after this moment, after this baby was born in a manger in Bethlehem, there was a decree, there was an order, and they had to flee to Egypt, and they had to take Jesus out of Bethlehem and take him to Egypt to keep him safe, because what they were trying to do, what the king at the time was trying to do, was kill all the infant boys, which would have been Jesus. And so they had to take him, his mom and his dad. And I want you guys to take, again, bear with me for a second, and I want you to put yourself in, some of you guys are moms on this call. Imagine you just had your child. Imagine now there is a ruler that's saying your child will be killed. So you take your child to Egypt. And Egypt might just sound like another place, right? Because to me it does. And again, I'm thankful for pastors that will dig into the word and help me understand things. But Egypt, you guys, is the place where God's people were captive in the very beginning of the Bible. They were captive. They were held as slaves. So Egypt was a very dark place. And our Savior, this baby Jesus that was born, that we know about at Christmas time, was actually taken to the darkest place in the Bible. And when they left there, when he finally was able to leave there, he left with treasures. And I'm telling you this tonight because 2 things. One, oftentimes the things we see as problems are actually opportunities for a better plan. And so we're going to be reflecting on a lot of things tonight. And a lot of times we get stuck at our problems. We get like hard stops at things that didn't go well, things that were devastating or debilitating in our journey. And we can really just reflect on like the circumstance and the problem. But out of Egypt came treasures with Jesus out of Egypt. And in your, I don't know what your like quote unquote Egypt is, what your dark place is, or in 2021, what was hard for you. But I believe there's treasures that can come out of it. And so I keep seeing treasures. I keep hearing about treasures. And I think that tonight is a treasure. I think that this year has treasures and is a treasure. I think that we're going to look at some mountaintop moments tonight. And you're going to be able to identify the treasures in those mountaintop moments. But I also know we're going to look at valley seasons and maybe some tougher spots in your year. And I want you to know that there's treasures in those too. There's treasures in those too. Okay. So do me a favor real quick. Close your eyes. I want you to visualize from this past year, and it might take you a second, but try to visualize for me your best, highest, top of your game, like you were your best self. This was the best moment, unstoppable. What was that moment for you in 2021? I want you to get like a little snapshot of it. What was the best moment for you this year? It can be in any walk of your life. Nod your head if you have it. Yeah. Now I want you to think about your lowest moment this year. What was the face down, rock bottom, struggle moment for you in 2021 that you can feel like you could put a stamp on it that marks the year? Nod your head if you got it. And you guys can open your eyes. I want you to know that that best moment that you envisioned, that moment is proof that you are capable of so much. That highest version of you, that mountaintop you, that moment that just fills you up because you know you were at your top of your game, your best self. That's what you're capable of, and then some. That's your new standard. There's more above that for you. That just showed you that now the bar is higher, right? And that lowest moment that you pictured, I want you to picture that moment again. Take a second again and like, what's that low moment? And I want to encourage you guys that you got up from that moment. Whatever that moment was for you this year that was challenging, that was low, that maybe felt like rock bottom or your face was flat down, you got up. You're here. You're still standing. You're still taking a step forward. You're still working on being the best version of you day in and day out. That moment didn't knock you down because you chose to get back up. So you have it in you to keep getting back up each and every time. Those moments teach us what we're made of, right? So tonight we're going to be walking through a lot of different stuff. Some of it's going to be all over the map in terms of like your journey with your health and whatnot. But I'm going to also stretch you to look at other areas of your life. And we're also going to look at coaching. If you are not doing coaching behaviors, this is going to be a stretch for you of, is there anything that you're actually already doing? And is there anything in 2022 that you want to expand upon? Because that to me is how we build in our journey, is we lay a brick, we make that solid foundation, and then we start to layer more bricks on top. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you guys see the reflection walk? Cool. I'm gonna make it just a little bigger. Ah, too big. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to walk through some things together tonight, and I'm going to kind of guide you through what to journal on. Okay, so we're going to start with reflecting and celebrating. Far too often, I feel like when people sit down to goal set at the new year. And if this is something brand spanking new for you, like I'm so excited for you, because this is something, again, that I've layered on in my journey year after year after year. And it's become a staple in my life. And it's something that I don't just wait for a new year, because I also want you to know that a calendar has nothing to do with changing your life. Let me reiterate, the calendar has nothing to do with changing your life. You have everything to do with changing your life and the actions you take. And so tonight is kind of us getting excited about what can we take action on in the coming year. But it starts with looking back. When we go to goal set at the new year, far too often people think about where they want to be, and they think about maybe something they need to do to get there. The age-old resolution is, this is the year I'm gonna get in shape, right? And we hear it all the time, right? This is my year, this is when I'm gonna lose the weight, right? Okay, so they know that that's what they want to do, and they know they have to work out, but that's kind of like, I don't know, the end of it, right? There's so much more to this. And I think far too often we don't get to our goals because we don't look back at where we came from with pride and also eating a humble slice of pie. So that's what we're going to do. So I want you to start by reflecting at, and I've got a couple bullets that you can take some time to go through, but what are your highlights from 2021 as a coach, as a member of our community? I want you to go through. This is something I love doing, you guys, is I love going back in especially Instagram. It's easier for me to see on the eye because I can go faster. I love to go back to the top of the year, and I love to just start going through the pictures that I've posted all year. And if you've been consistently posting in 2021, what a gift and a treasure that you're giving yourself right now, because you've got a lot of memories that you're going to be able to jog tonight as you go back through your feed and see, wow, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Or, oh yeah, that was when we had snow right before snow in freaking Dallas, right before I was supposed to hold a Galentine's retreat, right? So I want you to go through and look at, what are your highlights? What programs did you start and finish? What milestones maybe did you hit in your business? What events did you go to? Did you go to super weekends? Did you go to any sort of rewards trips? Did you go to Summit? Did you just join as a coach this year? And that's a highlight in and of itself. Did you start getting on calls? There is nothing too small, okay? I want you to also look at, what are some top lessons that you learned or reinforced this year in your business and fitness journey. And I say learned or reinforced because oftentimes I tend to learn the same lesson, just in a different level, right? And so maybe there was a lesson you've learned before, but it was yet again reinforced this year, and it serves as a reminder for you going forward. What brought you true joy this year in your business? What brought you true joy this year in your fitness? There is nothing too small. I want you to scour the internet, scour your bod groups, scour everything. We're going to take time to do that. And then, what new friendships were formed because of Beachbody? The cool thing about this is the community really becomes the glue. But ultimately, people don't join you because they want to be your friend. They join you because they want support. People don't join the business because they want to be Brittany's best friend. They want her mentoring and business support. But along the way, friendships are formed and created. And that is the beautiful part about this community, is that we tend to then do life together, right? So what new friendships were formed this year because of Beachbody? Maybe it was coaches within your own downline. Maybe it was customers. Maybe you crossed, like how Leah and Ashley told us all about having success sisters. Maybe you found one this year. So we're going to start off with this reflection and celebration. You're going to journal. I'm going to give you like 10 minutes or so, and then we'll pop back in, okay? I'll put that back up on the screen in just 1 second. Just gonna get a little mood music for us.
I got started with Barre3 9 years ago as a client, going in with the mindset
I count on one thing, The same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now. No waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. And yes, I lift you. The same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now. No way. The same God is never late. Is working all things out. Working all things out. Oh yes, I lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I bless your yes, I sing for joy in my heart is heavy. Oh my yes, yes, I will.
Hello, Discover Card here to explain our cashback match. We match all of the cashback you earn at the end of your
You are the word about the beginning. One with God, the Most High. Your hidden glory in creation. Now revealed in you, our Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the share so I can see your faces really quick. How are we doing? Did we get through? Thumbs up if you're doing okay, got through. What you can also do too, and what I did is some of them I was like, okay, I'm at like a little pause point, like my brain needed a break thinking about it. So I went on to the next question. And while you're doing your time, your win the morning time or whatever throughout the week, this would be a great thing to pull out and jog your memory, because there's going to be things that might pop back in, right? You might not have thought of something, and then somebody might say something, and then you're like, oh, I totally forgot about that. So I will give you guys a couple of my highlights from the year. I'd love for you to drop them in the chat. Give us like a couple of your best highlights. But for me, I am so over the moon proud that this year we had not one, but two Success Club All-Stars join the ranks. I'm so proud of Kristen and Leia for joining that club. And also they worked so hard this year, you guys, to earn the 2022 Success Club trip. And I'm like literally just counting down the days till March when I get to like see them see this trip in real life. And then you guys get to see them see this trip and what that ripple effect is going to look like. That was serious highlights for me this year. 3 retreats, a Diamond Galentine's retreat. We hosted a live summit retreat in this house. What? Oh my gosh. And our very first virtual retreat, which I thought was so special, was amazing. Another plus for my year, you guys can drop them in the chat while you're going. I'm just trying to kill time while you drop yours. I bought a mixed bike. How cool is that? Like, I was on my bike today and I was like, that's a highlight from my year. I bought this stupid mixed bike. So pretty cool. And just things like, we had incredible guest speakers this year, including Kat from 9 Week Control Freak and 21 Day Fix. What? I got Kat to speak on the team call. I can do anything. Pretty cool. Haley joined Beachbody and coaching. She ran a freaking 5K yesterday. And I'm pretty sure you did 2 5Ks at this point now, girlfriend, right? Like, no, it didn't happen. Saturday didn't happen. Uh-oh. There's a story for that. Drop them in the chat, guys. What are your highlights? I want to see them. Summit, duh. Hosting my first event. Yes, Andrea. Andrea, you have such a creative spirit, and I can't wait to see what that does in 2022, how you continue to be creative with your team, because, man, you're so creative. Diamond for the second time. Whoop, whoop. Summit, Leader Pod, getting to present at Summit. I love that. Finally getting her mixed bike. Shameless plug, y'all. Annie got her bike. The reason we're doing a very special ride for her on Wednesday, if you have access to a bike and can join us, is because Annie has been patiently waiting since literally the day we all got the mixed bike. Hers got lost in the mail. So we're doing a big celebration if you can make it on Wednesday. Learning how to lead, creating her own bod group. Yes, I love that. I remember that conversation, Annie. I'll never forget. I was standing in my mother-in-law's driveway, sending you a voice memo saying, Annie, I'm pretty sure you should probably host a bod group at this point. Let's go. So I love that you just took the plunge and ripped the Band-Aid. Working coaches like Beth and her downline. Yep, I love it. Saying yes to this journey. And Andrea, your downline like loves Win the Morning. I freaking love it. And that's a testament to your leadership, Andrea, because they see what you've been doing in your morning routine, and that's the ripple effect. Bridget said yes to her journey, lost 33 pounds. I'm sorry, what? Everybody needs to get some virtual claps for that. Going to Summit, yeah, because if we all remember correctly, she got here and was like, why did I leave my babies? And then she was like, why am I going home to my babies? Halfway to Emerald by signing Jeff up as a coach, meeting us. Beth committed to herself and joined. Yes, committing to 645. And that bod group was so electric. I love that. Team Cup month. I love that, Beth. Kristen hitting SC for 12 months in a row and counting. Yes, held first retreat for her coaches. That was really special at Nicolette's cabin. How cool is that? Multiple women on my team finishing programs. And I love that, Kristen is such an amazing leader. When she sees somebody finish a program, she just showers them with goodness. I love seeing the snail mail she always sends out to people. It's so beautiful. A lot of the same stuff, SC All-Star, trip in March, completing my first ever autumn program. Yeah. Ultimate Reset. Let us not forget that we did a spring Ultimate Reset all together. That was some goals right there. That was pretty cool. We need to bring that back, I think, next year. Leadership retreats, finally, let's put in parentheses, Leia, finally attended Summit. Yes, we finally made her come, but have one gal there in person. Yes, I love that. Nicolette, stepping outside your comfort zone, posting stories, posts on social media. Absolutely, my friend. Going to Brits for Summit, meeting teammates. Yes, so good, so good, so good. Okay, now let's look at lessons. What's one of the lessons that was either reinforced or was just learned whether it was the hard way or in a good way. Sometimes lessons are learned in the positive. But what was some top lesson, maybe just one, you don't have to give us all of yours, but what was the one that stood out to you most? What's something you learned this year that's going to stick? Don't celebrate the win until you see that it's official. This biz is all you. No one else determines your success. Leaning in. If I want to change the outside, I need to change the inside. When I work, it works, no matter what the it is. Don't take it personal if someone isn't ready to join you. That's them, not a reflection of you. Haley's capable of putting herself first. Wow, guys, guys, these are like life-changing, mind-blowing lessons. I hope you're reading these like just thoroughly impressed right now, because I'm pretty certain as I read those, I can imagine a place in my journey where I'm like, I learned that too this year. Yep. I'm shaking my head like, yep, I agree. I'm learning that too. And so it's so fun to see these, you guys. Okay. And then let's move on. What brought you joy this year? What are some things that brought you joy? For me, I had so much joy hosting those 3 different retreats. I freaking love that. And y'all, the next time I announce a retreat, you better make it your business to get to it, because I like going all freaking out for you guys, and it's just fun for me. So that's what brings me joy, is getting to plan those retreats, but also getting to see you work for that goal and getting to celebrate you with that. Yeah, I should definitely be the party planning committee. Learning how to be a leader of leaders, starting to make it happen. Yes, meeting you all, becoming confident, finding my voice, Beth. I love that. Pure joy. What brought you pure joy? Finding a fantastic support system. Yep. Heck yeah, finishing programs. That gift of completion is everything, right? Serving so many, watching those people succeed and then being proud of themselves. Yep. It's everything when you get to see someone that you got to help succeed, but you get to see the inner transformation that's happening for them. It's everything. Sticking with my journey. Bridget, heck yes, girl. Look at you. Who would have thought? On baby number 3 on the way, she's still freaking on Win the AM every morning and crushing it. I'm so proud of you. Okay. Any friendships that were formed this year on our team as a result of being here? I know it could be easy to just put all of the above, but if there's anybody that, you know, like Bridget, dang, she's a gem. Bridget, I was on my bike today, just thinking like, wow, Bridget just joined this team. Like, I feel like you've been here forever. Cause I was trying to think of who, you know, has done one of these calls before. And I was like, man, Bridget hasn't. Like, I love Bridget. Meeting Annie in person, becoming closer to Bridget and Amanda during Team Cup. Yes. Team Cup brings you together, you guys, and events bring you together. So make sure that, you know, when you're looking ahead at January, there is the super weekend, super Saturday events that are starting to sprinkle out in your cities near you. So you want to go look for those in your Coach Online office, but also start thinking about the impact of what does it look like to get to Summit next summer, right? If you didn't get to be at Summit and you had a little FOMO about it, how do you get to Summit next summer? And if you were at Summit, how do you make sure that you never miss Summit again, right? I love this. Yes, bringing friends back. I love this. And now he's jealous that you're better friends. I freaking love it, Beth. I love that. Like, you guys have the husband bond. That's so fun. Okay, let's keep moving and grooving. I'm going to go back to my screen share. We're going to do a little self-evaluation. Okay, this is not going to be, I want you to just list these out kind of in no order. So I'll read them off to you so you can write them out. So I want you to write intellectual, or like smarts, knowledge, marital. If you're not married or in a relationship with somebody, then you can look at it as, you know, getting into a relationship with somebody, if that is your thing. And if it's not, you can just take that one out. Vocational/job, spiritual, emotional, parental, or family, And again, if you're not a parent, I included family here, so you could include your extended family if you would like to do that. If you are planning on potentially building on your family and you'd love to be a parent, then this still matters, right? So it's applicable. Hobbies and fun, social or relational friendships. So if you are single, ready to mingle, and you don't have the marital one, you could put that as relationships, and you could put this one as like friendships, right? If you want to separate and differentiate the two. And then financial. Okay, I want you to go through and I want you to rate your wellness, the overall wellness. Like, if a doctor was to say, how healthy is your job right now? How healthy is the work you do? How healthy is your fun life? The hobbies? Do you have hobbies? How healthy are you there? So we're going to rate our wellness, okay? Because so often when we set goals, we think of physical wellness. And I want you to note that that's not even on here for a reason, okay? We'll get there. But I want you to relate your wellness in these areas on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, here's the kicker. If it's non-existent, but it needs to be, for example, if you, how could I put this? I'll go with parental and family. Okay. So for me, I'm not a parent, I'm not a mom, but maybe I've been taking steps towards family planning. I could give myself maybe like a 2 or a 3 if I feel like I've been putting a little effort towards that. But if I am not a parent and I want to be a parent, but I've literally done nothing about it except let it fester in my mind, then I probably give myself a 0. Right. So if there's areas where it's like, okay, I'm like not even existent on that, then a 0 would be in order. 10 would be like you are on freaking Oprah Winfrey, freaking Mother Teresa, freaking Steve Jobs, like who else? Like Mahatma Gandhi, like let's you know what I'm saying? Like you are on a level, like 10 is like, okay, you're there. So you might not be an actual 10 in any of these areas. And I'm saying that because I want you to actually be like honest with yourself. This is not the time to be like, well, I think I'm doing okay. No, I want you to be like actually sticky honest so that we can get to the root of what needs quote unquote fixing. Okay, so go ahead and rate each one. All right, I'm going to scroll through. Thumbs up if you're good. Okay, a couple more seconds. Now, for the purposes of this, I'm going to stop my share really quick. For the purpose of this, drop in the chat, what areas are your top 3? And if you have some ties, then just break the tie and pick something. But what were your top 3? intellectual, marital, parental, intellectual, marital, emotional, marital, family, emotional, social, emotional, family, parental, intellectual, job, hobbies and fun, family, relationship, parental, family, emotional, and marital, spiritual, marital, social, family, hobbies and fun, social, relationships, job, and hobbies. Awesome. Okay, so those were your top three. Okay, what were your bottom three? Drop in the chat, bottom three. Oh gosh, okay, hold on, I lost it. I lost where we left off on the top one. Okay. Bottom. Job, hobbies, social. I think
mine was the first of the bottom.
okay, job, financial, emotional, thank you. And then job, hobbies, social, spiritual, social, financial, social, intellectual, job, hobbies, social, spiritual, emotional, job, spiritual, vocational, job, hobbies, fun. Top three, flipped it, spiritual, financial, family, financial, marital, and relationship, job. Awesome. Okay, financial, intellectual, social, and relational. Okay, and then I will type mine in, social. Okay, so this is the kicker. Where your top three are, you guys, that's probably where you tend to prioritize things. If in your top three is something like marital, then maybe you are prioritizing date nights and you are conscious, you're reading books about, relationships, or you are really dedicated to spending time, or you're just focused on that, right? Maybe in your top was social. And so you going and hanging out with your friends is something that it's like routine and clockwork. And when everything shut down, like that was really hard for you because this is just something that is normal for you and something that you, again, prioritize, right? This is just data. This is all just data that we're doing tonight. We're all just like, we're looking back, and it gets a little emotional sometimes because that's good. You got to get the emotions out, but it's just data. And so when we're looking at our bottom three, it's maybe where we haven't been focused. That's all. It's maybe just what our focus hasn't been in. And for some seasons, you might not need to focus there, which is why I kind of threw the disclaimer out there that if like you are not looking to be in a relationship with somebody and you kind of have a 0 for that, so it's at the bottom, but like this is a season where you're like, I'm not looking for that. I'm working on, building self-love and right? Then it's okay if that's in your bottom, it's okay if it's not your priority, is what I'm trying to say. So the bottom really just gives me an indicator of where I'm not putting my emphasis. And so for me, like, social is at the bottom. There are a lot of circumstances surrounding that. And then there's also seasons where, I might not be out and about as social as I was in other seasons of my life because I'm more focused over here on other things like maybe my job and my marriage and whatnot, right? So I want you to know that your bottom three doesn't mean you're a loser in those categories and that you stink, right? It simply just means that maybe right now it's not a focus. Now, I want you to look, are there any in your bottom that are in the bottom and you don't want them to be in the bottom? Like they need to be a priority. If so, like star those, right? If something in your bottom three, and it's okay if it's all three, it's okay if it's none of them, but if something's in your bottom and you're like, I should probably look at that, let's give that a star. Okay, we're going to keep going. Are you guys doing okay? We've got one more little rate, system rate that we're going to do. So that's a little self-evaluation. Now we're going to talk coach evaluation. And this is where the health and self-care and wellness is going to come in. So I know that that wasn't a category in the first one. It's because it's here. Okay, so this is your coach evaluation. And I will read them off and you just keep your little head down and I'll tell them to you so you don't have to keep looking up. So first one is fitness. And we'll fly through this. Give it a number. Let's just rate it as we're doing it. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your fit level? Next is nutrition. Next is social media. And then we've got personal and professional growth. Professional growth would be something like national wake-up calls and getting on team trainings when we're talking about, best practices and things like that. Personal growth would be books that and podcasts that are meeting you in a space in your life where maybe you're looking to grow. And there might be a different number for each of those. You might be really good at personal development, but not professional development, and that's okay. So if you want to split those up and give sub ratings, that's okay too. All right, next is income producing activities. This would be connecting, inviting, and following up with people. Income producing activities. And if you're newer, again, if you're on this call, like I know Heather's on this call and she's like, I freaking love that Heather, you're on this call. She's brand spanking new, like give it up for her. Heather's probably like, I don't even know what an income producing activity is. That's okay. Because the cool thing is next year at this time, when you sit down and we do a very similar evaluation, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I grew so much, right? So it's okay if your number is not there because maybe you just don't know it yet. That's fine, you guys. Again, this is not a shaming mechanism. This is literally data. All right, next is gonna be leadership and contribution to the team. Leadership is nothing but influence, my friends. Are people influenced by you? Do you say things and people think about it? Right? And contribution, they go hand in hand. All right, next one is consistency in your community. And I would say there's 3 spaces for this. There's your social media community, your followers, your potential people. There's consistency in your community, which would be then your BOD group community or your challenge group community, and then consistency in your community, which would be like on the team level. So followers, customers, and team, right? How are you in terms of consistency in your community? How's your focus? How is your focus? This comes into play with, do you have disciplined work hours that you sit and work your Beachbody business? When you do, are you focused or is it just tending to kind of scroll a lot, right? How's your focus? How about achieving baselines? That would be like Success Club, rank advancements, etc. These would be like Beachbody's benchmarks. And attending events, whether they're live or virtual. And they can even be things like Monday team trainings, Tuesday power hours, Saturday book clubs. Those are also events that we have as teams. So it doesn't just have to be like Summit. All right, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to go ahead and look for your top 3. Top 3 coach behaviors, coach evaluation, and then go ahead and drop it in the chat, your top 3. Attending events, fitness, personal and professional growth. Fitness, personal development, and professional development, attending events. Growth, leadership, consistency. Love that, Beth. Social media, fitness, consistency. And isn't it crazy? Like, I think, Haley, I don't know, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a year ago, you probably would have been saying, oh, I'm consistent on like sharing on social to like be a light, and I'm really consistent in my fitness, and I'm just consistent. Like, oh, I love the growth, right? Isn't that so cool to look and be like, wow, a year later. Okay, Leah said consistency in her community, achieving baselines and attending live events. Olivia said fitness, personal growth, consistency, fitness, consistency, leadership, and contribution. Nicolette, good, I love it. Okay, so now go ahead and seek out, what are your bottom 3? What are the bottom 3 coach behaviors? achievement, income, activities, leadership, nutrition, focus, consistency, basics, IPAs, leadership, IPAs, focus, baselines, IPAs, nutrition, focus, nutrition, achieving baselines, focus. Ooh, are we getting like a common theme here? Focus, 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 nutrition, focus. I love it. What it shows is you're not alone, right? You're not alone. We all could easily say that we're struggling in those departments, right? And the idea is you're always going to have a bottom three, you guys. There's always going to be a bottom three. The idea is, how do you make your bottom three better next year than they are this year? So maybe next year you still say, my focus is just off, but it's getting better, right? Okay. I know that we are getting close to the 7 o'clock hour. I'm coming in hot with the end here, you guys. Okay. So on a wheel, okay, if you were to color in a wheel, and you don't have to do this right now, but if you make like a circle with 9 slices for the self-evaluation, unless of course you did omit any areas, then you can change the slices. And then making a wagon wheel, excuse me, with the coach evaluation, and that had 10 pieces to the pie. But again, if you broke things down like personal and professional growth, if you did that, then adjust as necessary. But imagine that you have these wheels, right? And there's like, if you've been here for more than 2 seconds, you've heard me say the phrase, it starts with me, right? And so the self-evaluation, the kind of coaches that I want on this team are not coaches that only care about pressing play and drinking a shake, but you guys, I want you to become amazing women in all areas of your life. That's what I desire, is that you walk away empowered to be your best self all around, not just, man, she's really good at press and play, And so the self-evaluation, that it starts with me component, is so key. If your emotional well-being's not there, I speak from very, very dark experience that if you're not emotionally well, it's really hard to do the coach behaviors. If you are falling flat on your face in your marriage, getting on a team call on Monday could be the death of your relationship, right? And so I care deeply that this self-evaluation piece, all of those components, that you're starting to really focus on what needs improvement and how, so that the coach evaluation piece can also function. So if you were to think of these as wagon wheels, but not even wagon, why am I like in 19 or 18, like 14? I don't know. Why are we like in the old West? I'm not sure. They're not wagon wheels, people. Let's get on a bike. Let's get in a Tesla. Like, what am I even doing right now? Okay. If this was your mixed bike, there we go. I'm in it. See, I just needed a second. If this was your mixed bike, y'all, would it be like a little like a little wonky, or would it be like a real smooth ride? Meaning, is your wheel balanced? Is every piece of the pie at the same number? Or is it kind of like a wonky wheel? Probably a little wonky, right? And I want you to know that that's okay. But when we feel that, this is like a metaphor for life, because when we feel like that rubble, that wonkiness, when things feel out of balance and out of whack, it's probably because a piece of this pie is not getting any attention. You do not have to have full 10s on both of these pies. You don't have to. But the more we can give focus and energy to every slice, the healthier your balance is going to be. It doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be 10s. It could be, everything's like a solid 3 right now. Okay, how can I expand and make everything a solid 4? How can I expand on that, make everything a solid 5? Rather than, let me make my fitness a 10 and let me make my marriage a 0. That's not good, right? And so my battle cry for you is, how can you even these out? Those areas that your top 3, those are probably like, things like the back of your hand that you just do without even really thinking about. How do you keep doing that? But now how do you give some face value and some priority over to the areas that maybe are not there yet? The same thing matters in your coaching business. So if you've been rocking your fitness and you're rocking your nutrition, but you're not achieving baselines, you're not doing income producing activities, and you lack focus, but you're really consistent in your community and you post and you're eating well and you're getting to events, and then you wonder, why is my business not working? It's not balanced. That doesn't mean I need you to give your IPAs a 10 and give, don't ever come to an event again. It would be out of balance, right? So how can we pull these things kind of together? What things can maybe come in because you've already been successful at them and they don't need as much focus in 2022? And what things need to expand outward so that our mixed bike wheel, I got it now, is more balanced. Okay, so before next week, last thing for tonight. This is all just getting data. We're getting data. Next week, we're going to be setting goals. We're going to be looking ahead at the next year. Now you know what needs to be looked at. And you might look at your bottom 3 and you're like, those aren't, it's not it yet. Like, I told you, star the ones that really need the focus. Those are where you're going to lean in towards some goal setting next week in both your self-evaluation and your coach evaluation. So if you need to continue kind of your thought process on this throughout the week, please, more power to you. But a couple things I want to inspire you and empower you with before we leave tonight is, number 1, your current place. After we looked at the year of the highs, the lows, the lessons learned, the treasures found, your current place today, December, 13th of 2021, does not have to be your ultimate place. Your current place is not your ultimate place. And oftentimes we get stuck in these places where we feel fatigued, or we feel stretched, or we feel uncomfortable, or we feel defeated. And that current place starts to feel like that's just what life is like. Not true, my friend. Your current place does not have to be your ultimate place. Remember, nothing about the calendar changing is changing you. Nothing. You're changing you. So you don't have to wait till 2022 to go diamond. You can literally start doing that today, because you make the choice today versus waiting on a calendar to dictate your life. Also, remember that quitting, stalling, it only delays your progress. And maybe that's part of your story from this year. Maybe there were times where you're kind of like a stick shift, like in and out, that jerky feeling, right? Remember how that feels. Because for me, it's always exhausting to watch somebody go all in and then come all back out and then go all in. And it's just exhausting to witness that. So I have to imagine it's exhausting to live that. So remember that feeling of what you don't want to feel like. Oftentimes that helps me in my goal setting, is the feeling of how I don't want to feel versus the feeling of how I do want to feel. Promise yourself in 2022 that when we come back next week, you're going to be setting goals, but you're going to value action to achieve these goals. And you're going to value consistency over just checking off a box and completing, right? It doesn't matter if somebody completed 645 only to never post again in the BOD group. Well, that defeated the whole purpose of giving yourself 90 days of consistency, right? The point is complete it, right? But consistency. And like I said, there are treasures in this year. Like I've said, do not believe the lie that a calendar is going to change your circumstances. You change your circumstances through action. So the whole next week, I want you to come back into this notebook throughout the week, continue evaluating, continue really looking, and start thinking to yourself, what direction do I want to go next year? What would be cool to start moving towards? What are some things that need my focus that I've maybe neglected? And really start to meditate, pray, spend some quiet time on that as we get ready for next week, because next week is all about goal setting. And I'm setting you up next week so that the following Monday, the last Monday, we're going to do a big old freaking fat vision board party. It's going to be ugly Christmas sweater themed, so you better get equipped, okay? I'm just warning you, 2 weeks, ugly Christmas sweater. We'll probably have pizza, wine, you know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a party that night. So start getting yourself prepared, because we looked at where we've been, okay? But next week, we're going to start to really look at what we're capable of, where are we going, and we get to do it together. That's the most special part.